yeah, that's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
The world's just changed so radically, and we're all running to catch up. How can we possibly have the slightest idea of what to expect? The best intentions. Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions.
Dr. Malcolm, here to share a few campfire stories with my uncle.
You can convince the Washington Post and the Skeptical Inquirer of whatever you want. But I was there, I know what happened, and so do you.
I don't think you're giving us our due credit. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Hello, welcome to episode 52 of Jurassic Minutes, the February issue, where we are going to discuss a lot of movie news, not so much toy news for the Jurassic series. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And here we are back for minute 52. Minute 52? No, that's wrong. Episode 52. But in this episode, we're going to be discussing all the movie news that's coming out over the last 2 months, maybe. And there's a couple of little things to add at the end for filler as well, but stay tuned for that. David, you're still collecting, getting stuff in the mail. I sadly am not. I am planning for a trip away at the end of the year, so my budget is shoestring at the moment.
Jurassic Park locations?
Sort of. There is one location in far north Queensland here that's the climate, the rainforest, just screams Hawaii. Just that sort of tall buffalo sort of grass with the jungle coming in on either side, open plains and that. So I see videos on YouTube of people going through these creek crossings and up these vast open spaces through this grass, and just it screams the Lost World to me. So I will be filming stuff and maybe doing a little bit of a what would you call that? I don't even know what you call that. Not a kit bash,
video?
just a fan video of a vehicle that was never in the Lost World driving through. Sooner it looks like the Lost World, pretending like I'm in the Lost World. And that's about that. But David, you have purchased something on topic.
Yeah, I purchased the a repaint of a Hammond Collection T-Rex in the Lost World Bull T-Rex colors. I purchased it from the same person who did the male T-Rex repaint, and honestly, got to say it's even better than the first one.
Okay, so yeah, rightio. So it's sort of a I'm really off today. Not an evolution of the first one, but more of a you'd seen what others had done and took the next step, and just even though it was the same person, just being able to do an even better paint job the second time around.
Well, this one's based on the toy colors, so it's just a different repaint of the figure. So I just really liked how it looked, and I've seen others do it, and I wanted one because I absolutely do not have the skill to do this stuff.
Oh, rightio. So yeah, the confusion here is I heard bull and thinking movie, but you've gone for the fresher color scheme.
No, the bull, the bluish green one.
Oh, okay.
With the one that's like 2 feet long.
Yep. Rightio, yep. All right, that's where the confusion was. Because I was thinking you've already got the the bull done in the Hammond Collection figure. No, very nice, very nice. And again, just all the articulation, all the posability of that Hammond Collection figure would just make for filming that thing so much better.
You can get right in and just recreate the Bull T-Rex pose, which is what I have it in right now, sitting on the shelf.
Oh, that's fantastic. It didn't. You haven't lost a kidney to pay for it. It wasn't too bad price-wise.
Not yet.
Are you getting a matching female done to go with it?
This wasn't a commission. This was just a repaint. This person was. I got a painter on Instagram, and it's just he repaints figures and sells them on eBay.
Okay. Another bull for your collection.
Yep.
Good luck having the space, the space to keep.
Oh yeah,
keep
the
displaying
space is
them.
definitely starting to become an issue.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that. I know I keep saying space is an issue, but now it's actually becoming an issue. I'm starting to sell old collection items I don't really display anymore, or kind of fell out of love with, to start just being able to display the stuff I do like.
It's one of those random thoughts I haven't had during the week. I've had for the last couple of weeks. I do have a couple of display cases in my living room that I have some stuff in, like the original Kenner Explorers, the Horizon model Brachiosaur and Dilophosaur that I purchased that someone had done a very nice job of painting up. And even the big red Kenner Rex, original Rex, and a heap of other small stuff, your snap bands from Jurassic World and the Barbasol can and all sorts of stuff like that. And that's all cramming those display cases because I purchase the Ravotech T-Rex and Little Explorer, Matchbox Explorer, so they get stuffed in there as well. And you just keep on adding and adding.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff, I've got tubs in storage, all here, McDonald's and that over there, Burger King, all your cups, the popcorn, cardboard containers, all that sort of stuff that's in storage, and you sort of wonder, it's in storage, no one's seeing it, I don't see it, is it worth having? Than thinking, well, it's there, this stuff's getting harder and harder to find, it's not going to skyrocket to astronomical prices or anything, but it's definitely going to be worth a little bit more than what I paid for it in 10, 15 years' time. Do you keep it? Do you sell it? Luckily for me, that stuff in storage is out of the way, not costing me a cent, and it can just sit there in relative safety, air quotes, including a lot of me mint on card Lost World figures as well that just can't. I just don't have room to display everything, and I don't really have. Well, it's not as if friends come around to see the collections, if I can put it that way. So it's something I've always thought about. Is it worth me having that stuff? Air quotes, hoarding that stuff. Just having that stuff, knowing it's there and not seeing it, not using it, maybe one day being able to sell it. If the house catches on fire and that stuff's all gone, then it goes. But or do you sell it, make some money on it, and someone else has got the opportunity to display that stuff? And this isn't just Jurassic. This is across all fandoms, all collecting. Unless you're collecting something. No, even Marvel collectors probably run out of space eventually as well. It's just one of those things as a collector. What you display? Do you rotate through some stuff? Yeah, even for you, just having most of your repainted T-Rexes on display and that above your computer bench and that there, just or cabinets, and it's something. It's something we have to live with as collectors.
Yeah. I think what separates a collection from a hoarding is what you admit, what you give up. It isn't what you collect, it's what you don't collect. Because I think that if you just kind of keep it and collect it, even though you're not having a room for it and it's just kind of piling up in a pile, it's not collecting anymore, it's hoarding, you know?
The one thing I'll counter that is, I probably shouldn't have said hoarding. It's a bad word. I've seen hoarders. It can be very bad, and I don't think too many collectors have the hoarding issue. I still see it now. People buying absolutely every single Mattel release. If you got the money for it, the space for it, and a plan for it, then that's fine. But this isn't 90s kind of stuff. It's the Hammond Collection T-Rex might be worth something in the future, 10 years down the track, but the Hasbro one certainly will be worth a lot more, just because of how few of them they made. But it's not. We've seen all this when the prequels come out. Everyone going into the Phantom Menace and buying every single Star Wars figure that come out from that time, and just it not holding up at all, apart from a couple of figures. And I think you need to collect stuff to enjoy it, not see it as an investment. Because at the end of the day, stuff's only worth as much as people are prepared to pay for it. Like I said, or over here, Hungry Jack's, over there, Burger King, McDonald's, all that sort of food packaging and that for Jurassic Park and then the Lost World. There's probably only a few people that are actually after that sort of stuff because they want to go complete psychopath on the whole line, everything that was released, and that's fine. But yeah, no, it was just something I was thinking during the week of. You've got all this stuff. Do you need all this stuff? As we're going to talk about in a minute, they're still making these films, so next year there's going to be even more of this stuff out there for purchase as well. But
well, let's just say I've been becoming a lot pickier about the figures that I collect. I think besides the Hammond collection stuff, I've generally not been picking up anything from the main line.
Yeah, and we haven't really talked a lot news-wise on the mainline Mattel releases unless it's a sort of legacy figure or something. But even it seems a lot of the mainline stuff has slowed considerably. There's some repaints here and there, maybe some captive stuff coming, but across the board that there hasn't been a lot of stuff revealed by Mattel post-Dominion that's on the cards coming up anyway. So we will talk slightly about some upcoming Hammond collection stuff at the end of the news, just because we don't have photos or any details about it, just rumours and that sort of thing.
My God, they are well organized. Those are some major league toys.
I suppose getting into it, Dave, there's a new Jurassic film on the way.
There is?
Yes, and it seems to be a lot closer to release than most thought. Now, this is all got to be taken with a grain of salt. We've already seen, I would say this week, but we are recording a week later due to some puppy issues. When we were going to originally record this, it only just been news had broken real quick about the director named, confirmed / in negotiations to direct, then being not happy and pulling out of it. So nothing here is set in concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And it maybe the circles you follow, the Facebook groups you follow, or Facebook thrusts in your face or whatever else. Like 6 months ago, I knew Twisters was coming. Super Bowl comes and we finally see a trailer. Yep, rightio, that's definitely coming. And there hasn't been a lot of, looking Screen Rant coming soon. All those sort of clickbaity websites haven't really been recording or reporting on that sort of stuff. So it would have been towards the start of Feb. The Hollywood Reporter wrote an article about, I'm going to say David Koepp. I know people pronounce it as they see it as Keop. David, thoughts on David Koepp? Pronounced Koepp. That's how I've always heard it.
Yeah, same.
Yep. He's returning to pen a new Jurassic film. Now, a lot of people are excited about that. He, of course, penned the screenplay and the scripts for Jurassic Park and The Lost World. He didn't just stop there. He kept on making some good films, some bad films. Whether that's his fault, director's fault, studios, we're not going to go into that here. Recently, teamed up with, I was going to say James Mangold. It is James Mangold, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the latest Indiana Jones film, again, thoughts on that film are completely up to you. But he was working on that, or he created the idea and script idea for it, and then Mangold come in and pretty much changed a lot of things by the sound of it. So,
well, first things first. Cap. The last I heard about Cap was after The Lost World. He really kind of didn't want anything more to do with Jurassic. That's kind of why he gave himself that cameo, killing himself off in the movie. And So they had David Leitch, and he's made some good movies, but I think the key thing here is that the movies he has made in the past have been kind of action comedies. So Hobbs and Shaw, Deadpool 2, those are both two big name movies under his belt, and I think that kind of tells us what kind of movie that Universal is looking for from Jurassic World 4 or Jurassic Park 7 or whatever it's going to be.
Well, it's I suppose we shouldn't glaze over the fact that he was originally there as the second unit director for Jurassic World work, and I don't know if that's where he started. I just know that's where his tie-in with the Jurassic series starts. So,
Well, he's got a lot of second unit credits under his belt, but I'm just thinking of movies that he's directed start to finish, you know?
well, as director, you'd hope anyway. That's his vision, so that gives you a good idea of what he's all about. Obviously, back in Jurassic World days, he would have been getting memos or something from Colin or Universal on this or that. Especially one scene that we're going to talk about after this, but in Jurassic World anyway. But I know a lot of have been happy. Some have been saying the same sort of things as you, just looking at what films he's done recently and thinking we don't need this out of a Jurassic director. And then, of course, all the news sites reported he was in negotiations, in talks, all this sort of stuff. He tweeted or posted something about coming out of an Amblin meeting, saying he's very excited for something coming up. And unfortunately, everyone pretty much assumed it was going to happen. And then just before we're going to record last week, negotiations are off. He's no longer attached to be the director. So,
from what I've heard, though, Universal is basically they've got a script written. It's not just writing a script; it's written. It's finalized. Universal does not want any more additions to the script. The pre-production is starting, so they're starting to make props and sets and hopefully animatronics as well. And everything is kind of locked in. Universal basically just wants the director to shut up and shoot, and that's all they want. And from the sound of it, Leitch did not want to be just shut up and shoot. He wanted to actually have input, to be able to create his own creativity to this movie, which Universal doesn't seem to want.
no.
And what I think Universal is looking for in a director and the future of the franchise and what audiences want from future movies is divergent. By all accounts that I've seen, including discussing the franchise with just like regular audience people want a smaller and darker story. They don't want an action movie. They just, like the last couple of Jurassic Worlds, they want something that's scary and kind of contained, more like the first one, almost more like what Rogue One was to Star Wars. It was kind of this contained story. It led into other things, but it was its own story with its own start and its own finish. And I think Universal wants like Fast and Furious with dinosaurs, because basically both Fast and Furious and Jurassic World are billion-dollar movie franchises, and they're thinking, if we can suck another $1 billion out of this movie, that'll be real nice, you know?
And that's even though it was originally announced that David Koepp was coming on, in those earlier reports and news articles as well, it was said that script was written pretty much to the point where Universal was happy and wanted to keep on going. It was strong enough to start production on the 7th film. We know from the World, I'll call it the World Trilogy without knowing what the 4th one's going to be. Colin Trevorrow come in, he had an idea how much of a through line across all 3 films he had is debatable, considering his inconsistencies between the films. But again, he might have come in with the napkin outline on Jurassic World. Universal had no faith in it, gave him bugger all money, didn't want animatronics, all that sort of stuff, and then they turned into billion-dollar films, and now they're pretty much just condensing and not letting the creative juices flow. In one of those original article releases, they said that Frank Marshall's back, of course. There's producers, Spielberg's back in name only because he'll have his input and it helps sell a film. I've had discussions with a lot of people on social media. If Universal wants not so much fans, but the world to take this film seriously, you need to get Spielberg back. And again, as you said, just small story. Yep, Dominion set up Jurassic World, Planet of the Apes, but we don't need to do that. Go back to the original story, something tight. Keep it to an hour and a half or 1:45. I just rewatched Jaws again the other day, and that's still a fantastic film for the time. It just, and I know a lot of people are saying this feels very rushed, but we need to also consider that Dominion was pushed back a year. If Dominion come out in 2021 instead of 2022, it probably would have still done the same. It would have eventually dragged its butt to $1 billion, and they would have been on the ball. Because we know Frank Marshall come out before Dominion was released and had said that it's the end of the Jurassic saga as we know it, but it's a whole new era, Jurassic World era. So we were assuming TV maybe. I think this news of a new movie is going to pretty much kill any idea of a TV series now. I don't think Universal would put the money into both. It's all going to be full force onto this new movie. I hope at this point it's got to be Jurassic World something. I don't think they should rebrand. All the toys are coming out with Jurassic World, or the 30th anniversary stuff's got Jurassic Park on it. You're just going to lead to confusion there. And yeah, as you said, John Wick with dinosaurs. I don't think we need to see it. There'd been the longest rumours about the crossover between Fast and Furious and Jurassic. Dom going into the Dolomites into Bison Valley to steal some emperors or something.
I don't even think it would be John Wick with dinosaurs. I think it would honestly be closer to that. It'd be more like Hobbs and Shaw with dinosaurs. You know? Which, I mean, the movie was enjoyable, but it's not what I would want from a Jurassic Park movie, even in the slightest.
Yeah. We should also mention too that the film has been confirmed to have a release date of the 2nd of July, 2025 next year, which would be the Memorial Day long weekend for you guys in the States. If script done, sets being built, animatronics, whatever animatronics, that sort of behind the scenes stuff being designed and built. It's, as I said before, Colin coming in and having his idea across the franchise and sort of building the trilogy with his, I won't say creative eye, but his vision. To have all this going on and not have a director at the helm is just, it just all seems wrong.
It does.
As you said, just Universal wanting this done, and we need a cookie cutter director to come in. It screams a lot of Marvel films. They've been known for doing the same thing. This is our vision. You're coming in, you'll get your name in the credits, but that's pretty much all we'll do with you, unless we do a sequel 10 years down the line.
Come to think of it, I can't actually think of any Marvel directors. I mean, no, I don't really even pay attention to it. It's never really a thing. I mean, of course you have not Bryan Singer. Well, there's Bryan Singer with the X-Men, but I'm thinking more MCU. And you've had what was his name?
Well, I can.
Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige kind of having this storyboarded vision that he's wanted for phases 1, 2, 3, etc. But on a directorial level, that's never really been much of a do. with the Marvel movies. Nobody says, all right, we got such and such directing Spider-Man 3. I mean, nobody says that. Nobody cares.
Well, the problem is they say, well, Sam Raimi's coming back to direct Multiverse of Madness, I think. Wait a minute.
Yeah, but Sam
yeah,
Raimi's
Doctor Strange. But he's
and especially within Spider-Man, where he directed the first 3 Spider-Man movies that we had.
They make the announcement he's coming back to do that. People are sort of cautiously optimistic because a lot of us grew up with those original Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. And yes, there's a couple of elements in there that are Sam Raimi, but the general movie on the whole just again seems like a Marvel paint by picture. The same thing here. And when you got in that, I think it was the original release with David kept coming back, they announced producers, Spielberg, someone from Universal, which is credited as story consultant or overall story advisor or something like that. And I haven't mentioned the fact that it's a woman, but because that's going to fucking come back and bite me in the ass. But it's just, for some reason, she's been credited as that, so it just seems like she's the Universal spokesman to whoever's making this film, or she's making the film, and there's going to be a puppet director under her. Sex, that sort of thing, out completely out of the question. Whether it was a dude or a chick, doesn't really matter. Just the fact that someone from Universal has been hired to be the overall script producer, film producer, whatever else. It just, yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't sound good.
I was also going to bring up that Cap. A lot of people, I think Cap is kind of being used as a marketing point in himself as well. One thing people don't realize is that for the most part of Jurassic Park's writing, Cap was not the main writer. They already had the story hammered out by the time he was brought on. What the majority of the writing was basically Spielberg and Crichton sitting down and trimming away at the novel until they thought they had a story that actually flowed within a 2-hour time frame. And then they had these other guys come in and turn that into a screenplay. And Cap was kind of brought in at the end as somebody to just kind of give a spit shine to the characters and add, because let's face it, Crichton doesn't always write the most exciting characters. So Cap was brought in to kind of give Malcolm his dry wit, for example, or to give Alan Grant this arc of coming to like kids. And these are kind of character traits that Cap contributed to the franchise. And that does give me hope, because I feel like the Jurassic Park movies worked as a way that to be character driven, not effects driven. And that's what really worked the best about, I think, the first film the most, is that you had, 12 minutes of dinosaurs in a 2-hour movie?
Yeah.
And most of the movie is character driven. You love the characters. You want to see them in other movies. So we get sequels with those characters in other movies. And I think that one thing that we kind of lost sight of was this character drivenness. And that's something I like more about Dominion than I did Jurassic World or Fallen Kingdom, where Jurassic World Dominion seemed to focus in more on the characters than bouncing around across different characters, so that we had a lot of characters, but not a lot of characterization. Like, for example, Vince Hoskins was written as a kind of like a mustache twirling Saturday morning cartoon character, and Owen in the first 2 movies was kind of written as this everyman action hero, and Claire is kind of the only one that had any kind of semblance of a character arc, which then completely gets abandoned, of course, in the sequel. And I think that Jurassic World Dominion was the only one of the 3 that actually took these characters and made something of them, where basically Claire and Owen become these surrogate parents to Maisie, and that becomes their entire drive throughout the film. And I think that having cutback would be beneficial towards having characters that we would care about again.
Yeah. As much as fans want a Hammond prequel, that sort of stuff, this is going to be set post-Dominion, in a post-Dominion war. As for the characters you mentioned, Claire and that, apparently Bryce was asked to return. Spoiler alert, she said no. No Chris Pratt. There was an interview with Bryan Cranston. He'd said he'd love to be in the film next to Bryce. I think after they'd just done a film together. I cannot remember that at this moment. They've just been in a film together anyway. Or she may have directed a film that he's in. There was articles about her maybe coming in to direct, which honestly I would not mind. I love what she's done directing wise lately. So directing a Jurassic film, I would not say no to that.
Same. She has. I will say I actually like Bryce Dallas Howard better as a director than I do as an actor.
Yeah. Yep.
She's directed some of the fan favorite episodes of some of the Star Wars shows. She was even lent her voice to Yaddle in Tales of the Jedi.
She did, yeah.
And I actually like her as a director. I like her directorial style, and I think that having her behind the wheel of a Jurassic Park movie, having known Jurassic Park as a franchise, would be actually beneficial.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as you said, she said no.
Yeah. Well, we know she said no to starring, and we don't know if she's been asked to direct. It's at this point with what we know or what we think we know. I feel sorry for whoever does get put into the director's role, because, as we've said, it just seems like you're going to be there as a name, and then you're going to cop all that flack if this movie does not make the money it's spent on it. Of course, at this point too, there's been zero mention of Colin Trevorrow, which it's sort of he's told he come on. He definitely brought Jurassic back. There's no question about that. As we said earlier, billion-dollar movies, each and every one of them, even Dominion to the end. He's told a Jurassic story. He's evolved the story from just running away from dinosaurs on an island to running away from dinosaurs on the mainland. There's some great ideas that he's brought to screen there. There's some great visuals he's brought to the screen. It's what's the genie's out of the bottle. Now the Jurassic franchise is mainland, dinosaurs everywhere, that sort of thing. I don't see a reason why someone else shouldn't take up the mantle or have their own story told. Or seemingly in this case, Universal having their story told and someone just directing it. So
I will say that these directorial woes kind of give me Jurassic Park 4 vibes. If anybody kind of remembers the just constant news of, we have a script, we have actors we like, we have the director fell through, we have a script, we have actors we like, can't find a director. We have a script, or we don't have a script. We have a director in mind, but we don't have anybody who wants to star in it because nobody cares anymore. And then it started getting to the point where, well, we need to find a good reason to have a script. We can't find anybody to direct because nobody cares anymore. And then it's the thing where it just over like those first couple years after Jurassic Park 3, we were getting the news cycle, but nothing coming of it.
At least with all the production issues Jurassic Park 3 had, everything else was on point. The script was not working. At least Joe Johnston was there. He was working on the script, all that sort of stuff, and then throwing scripts out. It makes me wonder if there's still someone at Universal that's been around all this time from those days and gone, well, we've had this problem before, and back then we didn't have a good script. We got the good script now, so the rest is just going to fall in line. We hope. And because this is 15 months away from release. Apparently, listening to some other news, the film was originally going to be slated for 2026, but someone made the decision when they revealed it to make it 2025. So this again, tomorrow they might announce that the film's been pushed back a year because of the director issues. Stuff's gonna change. It's, as I said earlier, I've seen a trailer for Twisters this past week. Didn't know much more about it before the trailer came out. In this day and age of the internet, and every single little thing has to be reported on social media. I know a lot of people are already sick and tired of hearing about the new Superman movie, James Gunn's new DCU, when it hasn't even started yet. People are sick of it.
I've not heard about the Superman movie, but the Twister movie I did hear about, which is actually another Crichton story.
Yeah, yep.
So. And
it would. Obviously, original screenplay he done. There's no novel involved, but it would be interesting to know if they did go back to original notes or some sort of thing, because it does seem to be. It's not a sequel with returning characters, but it may be an original story as well, based in that cinematic Universal's trying to push, because their monster one did fail, but play it by ear. But I suppose on the positives. And you're going to have to help me with this name once I find his name again. Where was that? No. Oh, yes, it was Steve. On the one little bright gem, I suppose. Steve Brissett?
Brissati?
Steve Brissati, there you go. It's been announced he's been returning as the paleontological consultant for the upcoming film. Now, as you heard, I had to try and learn how to pronounce that. David, obviously you know the name, the man more so. Has he been involved in the new films already? And does it give you hope, knowing what we know about stegosaurs and other animals on screen? Does it give you hope for what some of the animals might look like in the new film?
Well, for good or for bad, it depends on your. But he was paleo consultant replacing Horner on Dominion, and a lot of people liked for example, they really very much enjoyed the Cretaceous prologue in that movie. The Therizinosaurus was absolutely beautiful. The Pyroraptor could have been better face-wise, but was not objectively bad.
So he was involved in Dominion, not World or Fallen Kingdom. That was still Horner, was it? No. I didn't realise Horner stuck to it that late.
Horner was Jurassic World. I don't know if they had anybody for Fallen Kingdom. I'm not sure.
Which is insane when you think about all the new animals. Well, of course we've discussed the Allosaur and the Baryonyx in degrees. The Carnotaurus, just how fantastic that looked. Surely they would have had someone that done that design, because it's one of the best designs in the Jurassic franchise, hands down.
So with the Carnotaurus, though, it is actually kind of honestly hard to screw it up. It's such a kind of beloved, well-known theropod, I guess you could say. It's been you could put a bunch of different images off of Google into an AI machine and say make a Carnotaurus, and out would the Fallen Kingdom Carnotaurus. I think where it shows where they were kind of want for direction in some places was that the Sinoceratops, the script kept going back and forth on whether or not they wanted that to be Pachyrhinosaurus or Sinoceratops. And they settled with Sinoceratops, but the design kind of got amalgamated into the two. And you can see that the designers actually referenced Patchy from the Pachyrhinosaurus from Walking with Dinosaurs, because there's holes in the frills that shouldn't actually be there. The reason it was a character-defining trait, so you could pick that one out of a herd in Walking with Dinosaurs, but is not actually supposed to be there. And they just started throwing holes in the frills. And like, no.
No.
But actually, now that I think about it, I think maybe Bruzzati might have been to the full extent that he was on Dominion, but he might have had a little bit of input on Fallen Kingdom, because I remember him saying something about basing the Allosaurus that we see in the movie on the new species. What was it? Allosaurus Jimmedseni. And so I remember him saying something about that, and I think that he might have had input on the at least on the Allosaurus.
Yeah, rightio. And
possibly the Carnotaurus in that respect then too, because let's face it, the Baryonyx is a mess.
Well, I suppose it might be praise on Universal's front then, because obviously, being the sequel to Jurassic World, you're going back to Nublar, you're going to go back and see what you'd seen before, so you could have just reused the assets. T-Rex, we get the stegosaurs, the herbivores, that sort of stuff. There's absolutely no, I won't say no need, but no real financial reason why you'd have to create new assets and have new dinosaurs there that haven't been seen previously. And the fact they come in and gave us the Carnotaurus, the Baryonyx, and all these other new dinosaurs as well, it's probably grateful, because now we do have them on screen in one way or another. And then what he done on Dominion, as you said, the Pherosaurus looks fantastic. Giga looks fantastic. There's been some concept art released recently. Oh god, this is going off the top of my head. The Ankylosaurus? No, that's not it. I can't recall now. Originally, it wasn't going to be the Giga. It was going to be something else. And also some
Cracanthosaurus?
Yeah, that's him. Some concept art released with that. Again, they're reusing. We get Blue and Beta back. The Dilophosaurs from Jurassic Park, because we need to keep that design. Q. Pyroraptor, yeah. Feathers look fantastic, as you said. A little bit issue with the face, but for the most part, we got a lot of new animals in that movie.
Moros Intrepidus.
Yep.
Moros Intrepidus was absolutely beautiful. That one was probably one of the best designs that you could see that, even though it's not actually in the movie. I think that's why they allowed Bruzzati to have so much input on that one, just because, well, it's not going to be in the movie a whole lot, so we'll just throw it in there and let Bruzzati take the wheel with that one.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, he's on board for the new film. Been expanding my mind, if that's the way to call it, downloading some different movie podcasts and that recently, and of course going to the reviews of Jurassic Park is always a quick start in any new listening playlist. But it's still all the time, constantly. Yes, of course, the CG for the most part still holds up, all this sort of stuff. But I think the work that Crash McCreary and that done back in '92, just because at that point dinosaurs, the tails were on the ground. There was no real, of course it was real, but there may have been some paleontologists doing that sort of artwork at the time, which always involved T-Rexes with volcanoes, and going off the books I've got anyway. But just CG aside, just the work that was done back with that original film of giving us a lot more leaner, agile looking dinosaurs, that's progressed throughout the entire series.
At the time Jurassic Park was being made, generally the only place you could find those kinds of depictions that we would find in Jurassic Park were in like technical books and technical journals and books that compiled technical journals and anything like that. You would have to look in published works. It's not really something that, unless you were already interested in dinosaurs, you were generally going to see. So that's what made Jurassic Park special, is it took the stuff in these technical journals, put them on screen, and the masses would see them for the first time, because really up until then, the only thing you had was the occasional Harryhausen input, stuff like Land of the Lost and stuff like that,
Yeah. So yeah, again, this thing's due out in 15 months' time. Currently, no director attached, no cast announced whatsoever, no returning cast. I'm sure all that stuff's already happened behind the scenes. Again, with today's age of the internet, leaks are going to start happening. We're going to start seeing behind the scenes stuff, and all the things we've seen with Dominion and Fallen Kingdom, and start making opinions on what we see, with whether we want to see that on the screen. So I just hope, as you said earlier, I just hope we know we're in a Jurassic World. Bring it back. We don't need Planet of the Apes here. There's already a Planet of the Apes movie coming out this year.
Which I'm looking forward to.
Oh yes, that was a very good trailer, and I've been looking forward to that and love that series as well, especially if they keep filming up there in the Redwoods. Maybe film some of this new movie in the Redwoods as well. That'd be great. And maybe even look back at some of their past actors, characters. Nick Van Owen, where are you? We need you back in this Jurassic World as well. But yeah, just focus on the characters. The dinosaurs are going to sell the film, sell the budget.
Yeah. Dinosaurs sell themselves.
Yeah. You don't have to focus too much on that. We're gonna talk about some other dinosaurs in media shortly. That certainly sells itself as well. But just slow down. I'm glad you got a script ready. Just do all the other things that you need to do to make that script a good film. Anything else on the movie? I think we covered that. Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing stuff, so it's probably we're going to touch on the movie each month when we record the Jurassic Minutes.
Mr. Hammond knew this before he ever dreamt of an island. He began construction on an amphitheater, very near to where you're sitting right now at the InGen waterfront complex. But he abandoned it in favor of something far grander and ultimately impossible. And so the facility sits unused, unfinished, when it could be completed and ready to receive visitors in less than a month.
Speaking of David Leitch, when his name come up as coming back to direct the new film, someone else on his production team as second unit director, Dave, they released a heap of production stuff onto Twitter or X. Is that where this come from?
Reddit.
Oh,
yeah,
Reddit, was
it was
it?
a production PA dumped a bunch of materials on Reddit.
Ah, okay. One key thing from that stuff he's put on Reddit was the location for the Unimog ambulance or veterinary ambulance chase in Jurassic World with Owen on the motorcycle going down that road. We dissected the shit out of that scene when we covered those minutes, and seeing those air quotes bunker looking structures off to the side, power poles. Thinking this was filmed in a post Hurricane Katrina New Orleans abandoned area. We now have.
Well, we were sort of right.
Yeah, Alligator Road. It was on the wrong side of town, but it was in the same state anyway. So that's fantastic.
It was kind of like just outside New Orleans, really. It was filmed at this. Hold on, let me bring it up here, actually.
Yeah, the research center or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was filmed at at Tulane Research Laboratories in Belle Chase, LA. So it's kind of like a suburb of New Orleans, but yeah.
Now, is this old military? Are these old military bunkers we're seeing here on Alligator Road?
So from what I can tell here is that, so what actually led to this publication is we were looking. This was actually one of the scenes that David Leitch had filmed, and so it was kind of like nice coincidence that this production assistant would dump these on Reddit now. But from what we can tell, it's a research. It's a field lab to the University of New Orleans, and it's at an old military barracks, training grounds. Yeah, I guess you call it.
Yeah, military base. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, as you said, we dissected this scene. We discussed it profusely, and we noticed those structures on the side of the road. And according to the PA, they just went and they filmed on the road going back and forth on this road where I guess it's a big loop around the property. And that was the chase, was at this military compound turned research field location.
Yeah. And now these bunker type structures that Owen Nat drive past, of course, they're still left over. They look like new munitions bunkers on site. There's a photo here, or one of the spots I've got here, of where the power lines cross the road, Alligator Road, and there's just that scene. We talk so much about that second of footage of just, was this old power lines for Nublar? Was it something they've built to mimic old infrastructure? Looking at the actual location now, just you still have that sort of trapezoidal shape with the bunker itself, the concrete, the brick, these big iron doors.
Yeah.
The window, even the windows, little square glass windows with the bars in them, just that screams sauna, Nublar, InGen.
I'm not sure if they deliberately picked this location because of those, or if they just happened to they picked the location and found them and just thought it was a happy coincidence they were already there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, like you said, it's like matches perfectly with the old park infrastructure.
Yeah, and there's dozens of these things along Alligator Road. Just the fact you got the loading dock out the front. We know from Jurassic Park on the system rebooting sequence in the maintenance shed, there was herbivore feeding area, compound, that sort of stuff. There's no reason why trucks couldn't have pulled up to this and been unloading hay, straw, herbivore feed through those iron doors, and then that leads into the subterranean island tunnel network and that sort of stuff. It just it's a perfect storm of finding this fantastic on location area. Even again, being Florida, just the sort of jungle but the forest that grows up to the road as well, just looks like that Hawaii sort of forest growth.
It's kind of funny because I remember when they said they pegged LA as one of the filming or not LA, they pegged Louisiana as one of the filming locations for Jurassic World. I'm thinking, well, Louisiana swamps, that's like perfect Cretaceous territory.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much, like you said, it's very much Hawaii-ish.
Yeah. But even to the fact where, like a lot of places in Hawaii, you do have these forests growing to man-made structures, and then I'll get some photos of this area looking off Street View on Google here, Google Maps. Just the whole area, main area is just mowed. It's like manicured lawn around so much of the area, and then just jungle, just forest. But even the bunkers themselves, like I know, was in a couple of bunkers on Air Force bases here in Australia, and being a lot bigger, deeper, going underground more, where these don't seem to be as big. Maybe they're short-term storage or something, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking. These might be like munition storage or something.
Yeah.
Because they're built up into a berm, and then they have a bunch of trees and kind of overgrowth sitting on top of that berm. So obviously, they wanted to hide these from any kind of like prying eyes. So that's why they kind of look like they're facing towards the jungles, so that you can't really see them from like the roads or anything. They just look like a little patch of trees from far away, you know. Even looking overhead, the only way you can really tell they're there is that every couple spots there's there's like a little spot of tree growth accompanying on the other side of facing the jungle, you know.
Yeah.
Looking at the map, or not the map, the Google Earth, the Google Maps view. 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, at least 5 of these bunkers just kind of sitting along the road, and they just kind of, the only way you can tell they're there is that there's these trapezoidal shaped tree spots sitting along the road.
Yeah, well, some of them, they got the big numbers plastered on the side. I see one had 13 on it, so whether it was 13 in total around this whole loop or on this base.
Mm-hmm.
But again, at this point in time, it means nothing really. It's just a location they filmed at, but just how much imagination comes from seeing this in real life.
Mm-hmm.
What it could have been. I'll post up some comparison photos on the Facebooks and that as well. But we'd been looking at this for a long time, and it was absolutely fantastic to see it in real life.
It looks like, I'm looking at it, and it looks like there might be another 8 of them lining on the road next to it, Armadillo Road. So yeah, there could be 13.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably there might be more actually. Because a lot of them look like they've been swallowed up by the forest. So it's difficult to tell, but it looks like there's like a little break in the shape of where they should be between where they are and where the rest of the forest is, you know?
Yeah, and again, if that research company, whatever they were, have sort of come in and purchased this military land, we've discussed this before with the new Blair assets and that after Jurassic Park. It costs more to get rid of stuff than just leave it to go abandoned. So the fact they're still mowing, cutting the grass around the area so it doesn't get overwhelmed is good to see. But yeah.
Like I said, it's part of the Tulane University Biodiversity Research Division, so it's part of the school. It's like I said, a field lab of some sort.
Yeah.
They're researching biodiversity.
Yep.
You can pick up their scent, can't you? Track their footprints.
I was with the Navy, not the Navajo.
Moving on briefly, also La Brea. I don't even know what network's that on.
So in the United States, that is on NBC.
NBC,
so
okay.
Locally here in the Midwest, that would be Channel 5. But yeah, it's NBC. It's an NBC program. If you're not familiar, basically at the start of the series, a sinkhole, giant, like a couple thousand feet wide sinkhole opens up in the middle of LA and dumps all these people down in what turns out to be 10,000 BC in LA, 10,000 BC. And so there's people still in the present trying to figure out how to bring them back. People in the past trying to figure out how to survive. And it turns out, of course, built by the military. So they do get some timey-wimey weird stuff where now in the 3rd season, there's now dinosaurs.
Yeah, I was surprised when you said it was the 3rd season, because I remember when it was announced and the pilot come out and that, not being able to see it over here, probably without pirating something or whatever else, and interesting concept, but yeah, never got to see much of it, and you sent me some photos.
I'm not even sure if the 3rd season was, because I think this was the season finale of the last week's episode, because they went home. Everybody's home and everybody meets their families. And I don't see how they could continue from that, especially with the exciting, basically, finale that they had where they got a T-Rex.
You might not be too familiar with Lost, where we've got to go back. Yes, we're back, but we've got to go back. We're going to go back to the sinkhole.
I'm not going back. This is my checking out point. Everybody's home. Everybody's happy. I'm done with this.
Yeah. Anyway, the main
Yeah.
reason we're bringing up this show that probably not a lot of people have seen is the fact that a familiar-looking Tyrannosaur has returned to the screen, to the small screen of all things.
Indeed. So interestingly, the first guy, I think it was may have been the second episode of the season. They had a Velociraptor appeared very briefly. I think probably not even 10 seconds. But it was the classic Velociraptor. It wasn't blue. It was like the basic model they built blue off of, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the finale here, they've got a T-Rex, and it's Rexy. I mean, it is just a straight reskin of Rexy's model from Jurassic World, and is on the daylight. She smashes into a military installation. Everybody's shooting at her, and it's just fun. I mean, I think she honestly got more screen time in this episode than she did the entire Jurassic World trilogy.
Yeah, you shared some photos here in the messenger. Looking fantastic. As I said, probably more screen time than she did in the entire trilogy. But out in the daylight, and we haven't seen Rexy out in the daylight since going after those Gallimimus, really. Also here going after military vehicles, the Hummer, chasing the Hummer.
Mm-hmm.
Very much homaging to the original Jurassic Park, chasing Muldoon, Ellie and Malcolm in the Jeep 12, I think, from memory. But on a TV budget, a little TV budget, and it's sort of, if we didn't know a new film was coming, seeing this would give you some hope or some idea of what a Jurassic TV show might look like, maybe with a little bit more budget. Obviously, this was a one-off season finale, so there's always a little bit more budget for CG and that sort of stuff in those TV episodes. But
yeah, you can kind of tell it's the older Jurassic World model, not the one that they built for Dominion, just because of certain shapes. Like the neck is kind of overly long, like it was in Jurassic World. But yeah, it's fun. It was fun seeing this, and I mean, like the animation wasn't quite there. It was kind of looked like you could tell it wasn't a professional team, or the same team that I'm sure it was professionals, but it wasn't the same team that would have animated her for a movie. So
yeah, and importantly too, not including the scars on the neck and jaw. Although it would have been a good little homage, and you would have had people recognise that immediately. But yeah,
no, it's not even the same color pattern. Like there's a stripe that goes down the side.
Yeah, I see that in this photo I'm looking at here. Quickly, I know it come up in this year's Super Bowl commercials, but I don't think there was a new one for Jeep Wrangler. The original Jeep Wrangler Jeff Goldblum commercial from 2017, 18 maybe. I think it come out for Fallen Kingdom.
I think it was 2018 because it was a tie-in for Fallen Kingdom as well.
Yeah. So and that was the original asset for that too, wasn't it? For the female T-Rex. Yeah.
Well, that one was actually animated by Tippett. So that one was they had the movie team working on it.
Oh, okay. Which is probably why it looks so good. And just the comparison of technology at the time, just Tyrannosaur roaring at stealth jet. In this photo here.
It's, I mean, like I said, it was like
just good fun.
You know what? We paid for the model. We're going to use the model.
Yeah.
And it just went out. We're like, have fun.
Yep.
Do whatever you want. Have fun.
Yep.
This is the finale. We're not going to do anything else with it, so just have fun.
And trying to think of now, apart from a lonely hunter in the forest, I don't think Rexy's ever had a shot fired at her. Part trank darts exploded, of course, but one scene here.
Live rounds? No.
Yeah, one scene here for attacking the front base of the military, and there's soldiers there with machine guns, and there's muzzle flashes.
Oh, I mean, they're shooting at her the entire time. I mean, I'm like, how many bullets can this Rex take?
Oh.
And it's not like it's single shot either. I mean, this is automatic fire. You got 5, 6 people all shooting at her at the same time with automatic rifles, and I'm pretty sure they were like AR-15 rifles or M16s or something like that. And I'm like, how many shots is this T-Rex going to take? And then there's another shot here where there's 9 of them surrounding her, and they're all shooting at her, all with the same rifles.
Plus, I'm sure it's not including the photos here, but I'm sure when she's roaring down that stealth jet, I'm sure a missile gets fired from it or something. I just love with the CG to have that little bit of a budget just to show almost like raindrops in water across the skin of just the bullets hitting and going just bouncing off. It's just good fun. See if I can find those scenes online on YouTube or something.
The series jumped multiple sharks. I'm gonna just throw that out there, and I'm like I said, I'm gonna use this to check out.
Yeah, and again, if this is season 3 and it is only 5 episodes long, it's not we're not 90s television here where you got 22, 25 episodes per season, so it's not going to be a massive stint or massive commitment to watch a series. So I'll see what I can find.
How fast are they?
Well, we clocked the T-Rex at 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh.
Say again.
We have a T-Rex.
Wow.
Looking at other news, we did have the announcement of a Hammond Collection Claire, but there's been no photos yet, so we're going to check back with the March news for that. We're also heading into the 10th anniversary of Jurassic World, and yes, we do feel old. So we probably should be expecting a lot of Jurassic World themed figures coming from Mattel this year, because obviously they didn't get a chance to do that original toy line. Side tangent quickly. Was watching an episode of Tiny Home Nation or something on Netflix recently. One of the little kids was moving in, wanted to get rid of some toys, but she wanted to keep the Hasbro T-Rex, that god awful thing of all teddy bears and everything. She wanted to take that little T-Rex into her new house. So,
Of course.
Yep. Again, we've had the Hammond Collection T-Rex. I don't know what they can do for that, but I know there's been a lot of talk about a Hammond Collection Indominus Rex. We've had some good ones recently. Posability is the only thing I think they can improve on what's come out for the Indominus recently, but even that Hasbro 4-pack Raptor Squad, I think it was a Target exclusive, the little blue torch that lit up logos. I've seen that for $600 on eBay, and I've got 2 of them in my hoarding. So it might be time to start selling some of the original Hasbro stuff from Jurassic World.
I long ditched that stuff. That stuff went straight to what I couldn't sell went straight to Goodwill.
Yeah. But it's sort of one of the things. We have got a lot of the Raptor Squad post Jurassic World with Mattel, so I don't know how much is going to be involved there.
I kept Owen's motorcycle.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yep.
That was the only thing I kept.
Yep. So.
And I think one of the Stegoceratops. I might have kept one of those.
I'd love a petting zoo, like a small petting zoo, sort of set with maybe a 5-pack of baby or infant dinosaurs. Something like that'd be fantastic. Redo the Indominus. Maybe some more Dimorphodons. But I don't know. Maybe human characters would probably be the big ones. You'd want a Jurassic World Woo, because we've only got Jurassic Park Woo. Claire in the white dress, of course, iconic. We've got Jurassic World Owen and Amber collection and that as well. So Hoskins, we just got a barrier on the ATV, so we've got that. I don't know what else you'd want. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. But yeah, so yeah, it's 10-year anniversary for Jurassic World, so I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of that coming out this year. I'm going to say yesterday, but only a couple of days ago, Beyond the Gates posted up some images briefly here at the end. From 1996, some of the InGen Unimogs presumably parked on the back lot just looking at those sort of dry mountains in the background, either post or pre-filming for The Lost World. These photos keep on turning up. And we see some fans, people in production, whatever, sitting inside behind driver's seat with the thumbs up out the window. I wonder more so if this is post-filming and all these vehicles have been brought back to the backlot before being sold, auctioned, what have you. And these are actually fans that have come across these vehicles back there and snuck aboard.
I honestly don't know. I mean, I was thinking maybe either taking it out or bringing back, but I just like being able to see them.
Yeah, and I think I posted on the comment on the post for it. It's almost cartoonishly large InGen logo on the doors for a secret or for operation going to a secret island, and I wonder if these vehicles were used on the mainland for InGen operations, and they've just plucked a couple out of their motor pool to go and do this operation. There's also a photo here of the back of a Jeep, but it's one of the hardtop Jeeps that we don't really see a lot of in the film. Mm-hmm. I wish we'd seen the whole thing of that as well, but mostly it's just the twin cab Unimogs. There is one on the backlot tour parked with the RV there, the dual cab with the high side rear tray on it for the mercenaries to stand up in. But this is Lost World production. I love it. I absolutely love it. And just again, they've come out of nowhere. Nearly 30 years later, just what else is out there?
Yeah, these just got dumped on Discord. Yeah. I know. Well, we know that the RV, it drove around. It drove down to Florida and was doing marketing and that for the Lost World. But obviously, back in the day, all that stuff would have been done on film. People have got those photos, and they're probably in photo albums, but they just haven't been scanned and put online, along with a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well. So I'm always surprised when something like this turns up. Excited, love it. We've only got a small community we broadcast to, but yeah, if anyone else has got this sort of stuff behind the scenes, hell, I'll give you the money to buy a scanner. Just get this stuff scanned and get it online. But that's it for the February issue of Jurassic Minutes. Dave, a bit there we've discussed. We've gone a lot longer than we have any time recently. New movie coming, so something we did not expect. Something that had been planned for a long time. Honestly, we've talked about it before. We expected there to be quite a lull moving forward, with fingers crossed not as bad as 2001 to 2012, but we're going to come back. We're going to keep talking about the new movie leaks, release stuff as it's released. But I think in the meantime, that's us. How about we get out of here for the week? Sounds good.
All right, lovely.